Hi, everybody. I'm back again. Thank you for dealing with me as I wasn't here yesterday. So I'm gonna go run a little bit longer with Twitch tonight after I'm done. Just because I need to I need to address a few things with state of Twitch. But other than that, I'm back. Um, yeah, so many things. But the things I will address for both channels is that because I'm streaming to both YouTube and Twitch at the moment. Um, it's my own thing, and it's a very, very higgledy-piggledy process, but it's happening. Um, so as you can tell by the title of the stream tonight, it says that it says that I'm going to be reading, chapter 9. And you may wonder, you may ask yourself, why chapter what's going on with the chapter 15? Where's chapter 14? Well, funny story about that. There's a distinct point in chapter 13 where I've inadvertently, well, it's because of the way that I was editing it. I'm not sure. Like, I honestly, I don't know whether it was brought in from the original manuscript, whether it's an error brought in from the original manuscript, or if it was just me. I'm willing to bet it's probably me because surgery um, left a little bit of brain fogs there. So anyway, without further ado, because of that, so it means that there was chapter 14. What I wanted to do tonight was to do some extra reading to try it because I'm also going to have to cut next week short. I'm going to only be able to stream for 3 nights, and then I wanted to sort of wrap it up. So I want to get all of the chapters read by Wednesday, and then I just need to take some time off. Um, but not long. I just need a few weeks. I had a couple weeks to like prep for the next story and that sort of thing. Um, yeah, but the thing was, I was thinking, oh, I'll read chapter 15, 16 tonight, and actually, you know what? I still might just do it anyway. I'll read you a version of chapter 6. No, I can't because problem with that is that there's 4 versions of chapter 16, and I think there's some significant changes. So I need to read all four versions and put them into one manuscript, so I can just read the one thing. I got lucky with chapter 15. Chapter 15 is pretty much, there was only 2 versions of it. Nothing needed to be changed because it was exactly the same thing. It was just a copy paste sort of thing. So that's not a problem. And I'll just read that directly tonight. But chapter 16 is going to have to wait until Monday, which means that it's going to be chapters 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 5 chapters in 3 days. It's fine. I've done more in less. I don't recommend, but it also means that I'm going to be reading through everything this weekend and compiling everything so that I can have it all ready to go. Bang, 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 bang. I want to make sure that because with three chapters, I just have to have everything ready to go. Even if I have just the last few chapters ready to go, or like the last few chapters having to be edited on like the Monday and Tuesday, so that they're ready for the Wednesday. Yeah, I'll even take that at this point. But I'm going to be burning through the rest of the chapters this weekend to make sure that they're all compiled, and hopefully and the mystery chapter 39, which we're going to find out by the end of chapter 20 whether or not we're still in the middle of the story or like at the end of the story. Well, actually, what it'll be is I have the synopsis, and I read into the first part of it. I'm going to read over the synopsis this weekend and see like, when I'm doing all the other compiling, I'm gonna see if it actually lands there, because the synopsis has kind of like an open end to it. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, for those of you who are just tuning in, and I'm 5 minutes in before I even introduce myself, hello. My name is Beth Wagner, and I am currently reading my father's manuscript. So yeah, there you go. New to you. Anyway, I will, yeah, basically, and also while I'm reading them, uh, theoretically, usually it's my first time reading it. Not this time around because of what I was just explaining, but usually it is my first time reading. And even still, even though I was doing like compiling, I wasn't doing editing. So I'm still going to be marking them up for editing as I go. But I've already wasted enough time. So just a quick sip here. And then I'm going to get down to reading a story to you. I'm on chapter 15 right now, which is basically 3/4 of the way through the story ish. We're missing, there was like a chapter 10 that was missing. Um, so, and I accidentally read two chapters together. So it's roughly 20 ish chapters ish. Um, yeah. So without further ado, I'm going to be reading chapter 15 tonight. Chapter 15 of The Trollhunters. And when last we left, there was a swordsman with a blank face coming towards the party. Pothor moved forward quickly to catch the blow on his sword, parried it sideways and strike a return blow of his own. The man's head leapt from the neck and went rolling to the ground, but the body remained upright in the saddle. Pothor was beginning to relax when the headless body struck at him again. "Look out!" cried Callisto. In one swift movement, she raised her bow and sent an arrow directly through the middle of the corpse's chest. Pothor was off balance. He parried this new blow, but couldn't strike back. The corpse swung again, but this time Pothor was ready. He parried again, then his backswing bit deep into the man's chest and knocked him from his saddle. A moment later, the dead man was rising, heedless of Callisto's second arrow in his chest. Sword in hand, he came for Pothor. Something about this new enemy was too frightening. Even for a horse that had stood against man and troll, he tried to bolt. Controlling his mount, Pothor could do little more than avoid the cut. Artran threw a fireball. The corpse's clothing flamed. Now they were facing an armed and burning dead man. Varian cast one of his magical blows. The dead foe fell on the ground. Callisto put another arrow into its leg. Charred and smoking, it rose to its feet and came forward. Varian began tracing some magical runes in the air before him. The others fought the thing. It moved with deliberation, and its blows were not particularly fast. On the other hand, nothing seemed to stop it. Even with a dozen wounds gaping on its body and limbs, it still attacked. "Get back!" shouted Varian, closing the last of the runes of his spell. The others jumped backward. A blue fire surrounded the animated corpse. It stood a moment, then slumped to the ground. "Don't go near it for a minute or two yet," warned the sorcerer. "There may still be some residual effect." "Residual effect of what?" asked Carnutron. "Someone used a spell to animate it, make it move after death. I used a spell to draw that false life out of it. If you get too close to it, it might try to draw your life out as well. By this time, the only likely effect would be to make you very tired, and you might catch any sort of sickness going around. Not only that, but you might not have the strength to fight that sickness off." Okay. Now there's a spell to fight trolls with. Varian shook his head. Not so good as one might think, Harnitron. Trolls are resistant to magic, and one result might be that they would carry the spell into close contact with people fighting hand to hand, who would then suffer the consequences, or the effects I mentioned, tiredness and so on. Furthermore, it's a very strong spell, varying the magician in proportion to its strength. If he were needed for something else immediately, he may not be capable of it. At any rate, this is a good this a good sign might be, Pothor said, that this magician himself, so pressed, feels that he one of his own in spelling in order that he should be slowed down be. There's something more to that, I think, Pothor. Just one man with such a spell on him could hardly slow us down seriously. It takes a considerable spell to force a man to fight like this, and still maintain all his skill and speed. In this case, you will have noticed that he's not extremely effective, especially once his head was cut off. Of course, the fact that he continued to fight after losing his head had an effect, but I scarcely think that could be expected to do more than cost us one person. Then why did he bother to do it? Artran asked. I really couldn't say. It's such a useless effort, basically. It'd be more effective to have a few of them with bows to ambush us somewhere along the trail. The magician shrugged. Maybe he was just trying to confuse us? But at such a cost? Before they can continue their Before they continued their careful advance, Varian cast a spell. When he finished speaking his words and tracing signs with his fingers, he said, "This ought to warn us of any traps or